thinking quite a lot here about what they want to play. I'm a little bit confused,
Oh,
but okay. Countering out the Luna now.
righty. There's going to be your TB. I think that's the first time we've seen him in the playoffs, and I believe just the second time overall in this event. So, Terrorblade has not been sort of massively popular, but as you said, it gives you that hero to sort of go up against the Luna, someone that can match the damage, match the farming rate. You've got the Sunder to sort of bail yourself out unless you get massively controlled, but that brings us back to the point here for the cut. They don't really have that much control. You've got a Lucent Beam, you've got a Bushwhack, maybe the Pangolier can just sort of roll onto him constantly until that Sunder is no longer an option, but it just feels like all of that is sort of a what if. It's all of a maybe they can do this if they're in the right position. You would prefer to have much more sort of concrete and reliable lockdown to try and deal with that Terrorblade.
And again, if they're able to play from ahead, if the TB is ever in front of the Luna, your matchup's just going to feel awful. It's going to feel like you're not going to be able to do anything. The cut do have a lot of burst damage coming just straight up from the Hoodwink Pango. The issue is, again, execution. If they ever mess up, if they ever miss one of their spells, they're going to be put in a position very similar to the position they were putting two-based in yesterday, where if the execution level is not there, immediately D2 Hustlers have the lineup to just say, okay, commit meta, we're going to go into Roche, get our first Aegis, now we're going to get all your tier 2 towers, what are you going to do about it? You got to get that BKB up on Scourge, okay, who cares? We're going to get a Scotty up on Yuma, and that's where I'm a little bit afraid that D2 Hustlers might have a little bit too much activity in their lineup, where this Timbersaw, that's why we see it picked so much, valued almost as much as that Leshrac, where you're able to meet up with your carts, get those early T1s, and really, I think if D2 Hustlers are able to claim the mid tower first, of course, no indication of whether or not the game's going to swing in their favor, but I think that if that happens, the map is going to feel too small. And again, if Yuma is able to stand on equal footing or even get ahead of Scourge McDuck, because Scourge should be able to pull ahead. He has the glaives. He's able to farm those ancients a little bit more efficiently than Yuma should. But if Yuma is able to catch up in any regard, I think that the cut are going to struggle immensely. And that's where we see all of the spirits banned out for a very good reason. Neither team really has the most fantastic lockdown. Both mid laners need to get so active, and we need to see that performance we saw yesterday from Red 2. He can't afford to sort of have a slow start, be pushed around in his lanes. He needs to get off to the races, and he needs to gank these lanes. And I'm a little bit afraid here that maybe you just pick the Wind Ranger up for Papa Tootie here, and then you're left without a hero for Red 2.
Yeah, the options are so incredibly slim right now, and for T2 Hustlers, I mean, putting Papa Tootie on that Wind Ranger feels like it's going to be pretty fantastic. It's a hero that can sort of maybe take advantage of that maneuverability. You can sort of pass the baton off to the TB when the time comes as well, and still do pretty substantial amounts of damage. So I mean, it seems like a solid pick. D2 Hustlers, though, there we go. Got to actually make the selection. 1 second left on the clock, but there it is. The Wind Ranger for them, and now fear the cut. I mean, what is really left for them other than maybe just some unconventional choices? I mean, I was going to suggest the DP, but I'm not really sure that's even a good idea at this point.
Yeah, you can't really go DP. I'm really sort of grasping at straws here because again, Red 2, he doesn't have the largest hero pool. I don't think you can really force a Queen of Pain, even though that would feel all right in this situation. They needed a hero to rotate, and it feels like now it feels as if D2 Hustlers have gotten everything they wanted. And yeah, they just
Right.
go for the co-op. And again, it feels like they need to because it will slot into their lineup. It is sort of that spirit stand-in where if all of the spirits do get taken out, you are able to make easy rotations with your level 6. You do have that magic burst. But I can't help but feel like D2 Hustlers have slotted a better hero in more or less every single position. The only toss-up being that Luna, but you've already picked up the Terrorblade to sort of circumvent that. So, man, I think neither side really was trying to be tricky. They were just kind of playing a straight up draft, and they need to have fantastic performances on Tingle, Red 2, and Giant. If they don't sort of ball out here, I think D2 Hustlers sort of got them to rights. I don't know. I really do not sort of believe what the cut are doing this time.
It just feels like, I don't know, for Tingle and Queen of Pain there, or Tingle and Red 2, excuse me, with those final two picks, to a certain extent, it just kind of feels like they're forcing this. It's something that can work for them, but it feels like it's maybe not fully natural in terms of those heroes doing what the cut will need them to. They're going to have to put the extra effort forth to be able to make those plays, whereas D2 Hustlers just have something that it feels like the timings are going to work out for them. It feels like the rotations that they will want to make are going to be easier to pull off with the lineup that they have sort of put together here. And Yuma obviously is just going to sit really in his lane and in the jungle, and he is going to farm like crazy. So we know that both the TB and the Luna are going after that heavy farm game. It's going to come down to what can the rest of the lineup do for that carry in the meantime. And like you said, it feels like this sort of trio here, Queen of Pain, Pango, and Hoodwink, are going to have just an inordinate amount of pressure put on them. They cannot afford to not deliver here.
Yeah, and we saw with, I believe, Hikori, the easiest example. As soon as they got their mid laner on that win, the rotations just sort of come very naturally. It never feels like you have to knee-jerk TP to lanes. It never feels like you have to play that reactionary style of mid lane where, okay, maybe I can TP in and Sonic Wave and get 2 hero kills, and that's great and all, but Papa Tootie is probably the one sparking those fights. He's probably the one getting you down. And this is also a matchup where I feel like the skill isn't going to matter. No matter what Red 2 does mechanically, Papa Tootie is going to be able to get that bottle up. He's going to be able to outrange you. And it feels like a band-aid on a much bigger problem. And again, if D2 Hustlers get a little bit too much net worth, a little bit too much farm on these side lanes, then Red 2 is going to run out of plays very, very quickly. And we saw Queen of Pain work just a few days ago, but it really needs a lot of circumstances. And again, it's sort of Quap's rule where you're going to need to buy this BKB. If you ever blink in aggressively, there's a very good chance that Red 2 is just going to immediately die. So he has to be so cautious. And that's sort of the theme with all of their heroes. The Pango, the Hoodwink, everyone is so squishy. And if they get caught without their ultimates, without their defensive abilities, D2 Hustlers just have a very, very sturdy lineup.
I don't know. I mean, it was so weird. We were talking about the cut about halfway through the draft, right? We're thinking, yeah, they're looking pretty good. I think they've got something that might work here. And then that second half, the bottom just kind of falls out, and now they're in a situation where they've got a bit of an uphill battle. But down 0-1 in the series, you really can't afford to just not show up. So they're going to have to do everything in their, everything in their power to try and force this to work. And that is the thing. It can certainly work. There's by no means is this sort of a hopeless situation for the cut. It's just everything's going to have to go right for them. The execution will have to be absolutely perfect for them as well. So let's see if they can do it as we are getting that laning stage underway here. Scourge, well, down in the bottom lane, just going to look to find as much as possible. But Devi and Frugos, I mean, this feels like they can maybe get something going. Might have to wait a little while for the levels, but Devi actually going in for the Whirling Death early. So they're going to try and hit their opponents up here really across the first couple of minutes as Pingu does sort of get hit there. The shield is going to absorb some of that damage, but if D2 Hustlers are really serious about going in for this one consistently, I don't know how well the Abaddon's going to be able to hold up, but right now he's just hacking away at Devi, and well, now he's feeling maybe a little bit less great about the Whirling Death level 1. Doesn't really have the durability, but he's got tangos, he's got a salve. Should be just fine here as long as he doesn't get completely out of position, as Frugos is even going to pull a creep wave back for him. So should be able to get Devi level 2, and then they'll be sort of back up into the lane.
Yeah, unfortunately, he wasn't able to pull it all the way around, and Devi did miss that first last hit there, but fortunately for Pingu, he is this Abaddon, he does have that Uv, he is able to be very, very obnoxious. You'd love to see the stick coming out, because they really do need to use their spells, but unfortunately, for Devi, now the wave is just completely pushing into Scourge, so there's no way that he can really contest up here, and yeah, that's why I see Frug. He's going to get a courier, but he had to walk really, really far away, and this is just Devi sort of versus the world.
He was so far out of the lane, and now...
Ooh, lost his courier.
Hauls it directly into the middle of the lane. It's a bit unfortunate, wasn't keeping tabs on it, so both cores in this bottom lane will be losing their courier. Devi, at least, though, able to walk away from that aggression. So, got the first point up in the reactive armor. It's going to keep him at least relatively safe right now, and Frugos is going to be returning to the lane. So the Timber's not really alone anymore. They're going to try to get in on to Pingu. Dishing out a little bit of damage, but now that's interesting. He did not anticipate the curse.
Okay.
All right, Pingu's able to sort of hold out. Scourge comes in for the Lucent Beam, and Devi goes down. Not quite tanky enough there, and I don't know. Did he just Did he think they could just get the kill first no matter what, or did he think Pingu was going for the miscoil at level 2 instead? Because by the time he really reacts in any way to the curse, he's got about 2 or 3 stacks on him.
And that's where this Abaddon does feel okay versus the Timbersaw. You have that Whirling Death, you're able to purge it off with the Aphotic Shield. Now Pingu's level 3, he has that Miscoil, he's going to continue to be quite obnoxious. And Pingu 100% needs to be careful when he is sitting at those lower HP pools. But if he's always able to get that Aphotic Shield, and he's been forced to cast it on himself every single time, but Scourge doesn't really mind because he's not eating any of this harass, so it does feel like D2 Hustlers are playing a little bit too much into the Cuts lane here, but at the same time, if Divine is able to get his level 6, that's when this sort of turns bad for the Abaddon, where you might see him go down, and yeah, there's the shield.
As you said, he's been forced to use it on himself repeatedly, but if Scourge is just sort of falling back, if the Whirling Death's not hitting him, then why should he really care? He's just going to sit here and farm, and Pingu is free to sort of shield himself to his heart's content, but Devi, he's starting to get a little bit more up here in the way of levels, so I don't really know how confident he's going to be able to feel, but we've seen them make multiple attempts now in onto Pingu. Obviously, they haven't been able to make it happen, but they are feeling maybe a little bit stronger overall, and as they gain levels, Abba is really not going to have quite as much defensive capability here, but for now, he's just going to keep on going in. The silence will be deployed again. Scourge has the Lucent Beam. I don't know if they want to commit it, but they're still just sort of holding their ground for the time being as Devi have the Timber Chain, gotta be careful. Meanwhile, over on the other side of the map, Pandago able to get himself a kill in onto the Hoodwink, as they do find that first kill on the D2 Hustler side.
And I think there's a full Orb of Corrosion coming out for Tingle King in just a moment here, but yeah, it was with the tail end of that meta, they were just able to catch Giant trying to stop Pandago pulling, so Yuma just with a very easy, simple rotation getting the kill. But now that Tingle King does have this Orb of Corrosion, the TB without meta does need to be slightly cautious. But again, you get that kill over on, actually not sure who got it because of all of the Water Rune and Bounty Runes being bottled up from everyone. But it doesn't feel too bad. But Yuma does need to be careful, especially the Orb of Corrosion with the Acorn shot. It is just counted as a right click, so that anti-armor will hurt him a little bit more. But again, you're TB, you've got 12 armor, 16 when you're sitting underneath that tier 1 tower, and an Oracle just coming here, healing you up, bringing you another set of tangos and a salve if you do get forced out of lane. So there's really no shot in Yuma getting pressured up too hard here.
Yeah, Yuma just has to be massively out of position. Maybe if he's that far forward, Giant can hit him up with a bushwhack, but outside of that, he should be just safe to fall back, keep farming, get the occasional sort of heal and support in from Pandago, and just kind of keep on chugging along here. So if you're the Cut, you still do need to apply this pressure. You can't just sort of back off entirely, but it's not really going to lead into any kills unless there's a bit of a mistake, as that bushwhack is nicely placed onto 2, but again, not really going to be able to do too much with that. Meanwhile, back down bot, Pingu once again sort of under fire there, as Devi and Frugos, they really just do keep on trying to get it onto him, but haven't actually been able to lock him down. Scourge is, again, still just okay with this. 25 and 10 in terms of that sort of last hit and deny count, so you're not shutting the Timbersaw down, but the Luna is definitely getting more from this, I'd say, than Devi is, outside of maybe just the experience count.
Yeah, and again, once Divine hits level 6, everything sort of changes, and actually top, he committed the meta, and they just turn on a Pandago and kill him instead, so Yuma is able to get a lot of damage on everyone, though. Giant and Tingle King might be forced to sort of just watch this Terrorblade CS a little bit here, even though Tingle King is still able to get those range creep blast hits with the Swash more or less reliably.
Yeah, so still going to be able to get his, but gotta be careful. Yuma can still hit pretty damn hard with Pandago back in. You're maybe one Fortune's End away from getting yourself into some trouble,
Bottom.
so they will back away. But for now, a Devi,
They don't know about Red 2. They don't have a ward.
there it is, jumping in, but the Impale is going to be there. Devi is able to Timber Chain away. The Silence, unfortunately, comes out a little bit too late, and it doesn't actually cancel the chain once it's been deployed. But Red 2, he still wants this, and he has the Sonic Wave, but at that point, the Timber's into the tree line. That's going to get a little bit too complicated for them to chase after. So unfortunate rotation from the Queen of Pain, but at least you hold the ult, so Red 2 could still try to make plays elsewhere, but now he's out of bottle charges and obviously doesn't have that rune upgrade any longer.
Yeah, and it's those little rotations that feel pretty bad because he's been able to amass a little bit of a lead here versus Papa Tutti. And every single time a rotation like that doesn't work out, you eat a mana burn on the way out, no less, so you don't have that much mana to your name. So it feels a little bit worse. And Papa Tutti as well, he does have the unfortunate circumstance of only being able to power shot red 2, and he has the raindrops to sort of circumvent a lot of that damage. But Papa Tutti was able to get that javelin up, and that's where you need to be so careful when this wind stops showing on the map. If he makes a sort of chance rotation down to Scourge's lane when Divine hits level 6, or even top trying to get Tingle King, and Tingle King's actually going in on Pandago, and I think
Okay.
he
Edict
needs
is
one
gonna
more
be there.
pass. He's got Swash in 2, though. I think Pandago's just, yeah.
Tingle's able to make that one happen, getting himself the quick and easy kill. Pandago is just sort of alone in the lane because Yuma is starting to rotate out here. So they do manage to find that kill, but now you do see Papa Tutti starting to maneuver a little bit here. Making his way up to that top lane. Between himself and Yuma, they're going to have a fair bit of damage, but they are presumably going to need something like the Shackle Shot to start this one off, as Papa Tutti's trying to sort of stagger the initiation, wants to wait long enough for the reinforcements to arrive, but that
Giant
might
didn't
have
see
been
him.
too long. Yep. Giant? Yeah, he's just going to walk away. Bushwhack comes through. Papa Tutti can't make it happen, and he's used the Shackle now, so they don't have lockdown for Tingle King, and now Red 2's in, blinking forward, going for the screen. Pandago, though, going to be able to defend his teammate, but it may come at the cost of his own life. Pandago's not in a great spot. The Acorn Shot will hit, and Red 2 gets the kill with that final right-click, but now Papa Tutti wants back in. I don't know about this.
He's sticking around a little bit too long.
There's no backup here. There's no help coming in from the TB. Yuma did not want to be involved, and unfortunately, Papa Tutti goes in anyway, and now that's Red 2 picking up both of those kills and sort of expanding upon that early advantage he had over Papa Tutti in the middle lane.
Yeah, now he's got 1,600 gold, and Yuma.
Oh, Yuma.
Okay. The perfect ward placed down. They see him. They scouted out his rotation, and those are 3 incredibly fast and easy kills.
That last one really feels like it shouldn't have happened. I guess Yuma, I mean, he has no way of knowing for sure that there's a ward there, but the Queen of Pain got the kills top and did not use the ult, so to a certain extent, you have to still be at least a little bit cautious that she was still hanging out nearby, and Yuma doesn't quite show that caution, gets caught out, but over in the bottom lane, Devi's at least able to find himself a kill onto the Abba, so that is going to pull a little bit of that gold back, but it still leaves the cut up by more than 1,000, really just coming up on the first 10 minutes in this match. So they're looking pretty good here. I'm going to try to keep the momentum going. If Red 2 can really just keep this ball rolling, then they're going to be in an absolutely incredible position right now.
And they're trying to strike here. They saw Pingu TP, and I think he's 1 creep away from getting his level 6. Oh, okay. He's got it. Should be fine.
It's going to be that borrowed time. Papa Tutti, though, okay, just go for the tower. Gotta respect it. Looking for the objective. Focus fire coming through, but over in the middle lane, Frugos just trying to get a little bit of experience for himself instead. Giant hits him up with Bushwhack. Red 2 comes in with the DD and the nuke damage, and the cut will get another kill, and now they're TPing heroes down bot. Not going to let that tier 1 fall, as Papa Tutti and Devi are going to be forced to fall back. So the cut really playing this one out perfectly. They're finding kills. They're holding on to their objectives, and I think
Devi.
they make it Devi here too. Yeah. Tinker's in some trouble.
Boy.
That's the what? Sharpshooter comes through. I just had the strangest of glitches there. There was just random particle effects flying about. But either way, Giant gets the snipe down for the kill, and the cut continuing to just build on this lead. It's just amazing for them how well they've sort of just chained one play into another over and over again.
And it really has sort of been the failure of Papa Tutti, where Red 2, he's doing exactly what he needs. He's always forcing in these waves, being incredibly obnoxious. His 2 rotations worked out, whereas Papa Tutti's failed and resulted in his death, so he's still on the back foot, and not being able to take that bottom tower with that 10-minute cart, it feels like D2 Hustlers are sort of moving their timings down further a little bit, as they're not bringing as many heroes, and they're not bringing the right heroes to a lot of these situations. And Tingle King had a sentry here. There's no way he should die here.
Rolling Thunder should keep him safe, but now with Red 2 and Giant in, they're going to look to turn it around. Frugos going to get stunned up and finished off as Giant gets that kill. Now Devi just got to run. Timber chaining himself back under the tower, so he saw the maneuver coming. He still sort of lets it happen, but Tingle King, to a certain extent, acting as the bait, getting his teammates into the fight, and they're going to be able to find that kill. It's maybe not the most valuable kill into the in the world, getting onto the Nyx Assassin, but we'll be able to pull that one off. Now Papa Tutti. There's going to be the snipe.
Use the
Red 2.
ult. Yep.
Sonic Wave deployed, even sort of clipping Pandago a little bit there, so he gets shoved back. Didn't have level 6 anyway, but there's really nothing he was going to be able to do in that situation as his teammate goes down. Devi, though, down in the bottom lane, did go back in onto the Pango. This time it's a 1v1, and this time the Timbersaw does win it, but you're losing your Wind Ranger on the other side, so overall, D2 Hustlers still sort of struggling at this point to try and make these plays happen for themselves.
And it really just is Papa Tootie. I'm not sure what's going on. We saw his wind really be successful, be impactful in a lot of different situations, but he's really struggling versus Red too. He hasn't been able to get nearly as much farm, nearly as much rotations, really anything done. He's 0-2-0 right now, despite having this Javelin pretty early on, and you do just try to draw the lane and Tingle. Oh, Frugos?
That's a rough one, just completely whipping, and now he's in trouble himself. They're going to try and get down that sharpshooter hit. Can they connect? Well, yes, but not onto the hero they thought, but they hit the TB. That actually might be a little bit better.
This is a little bit too much.
Yeah. Bingle. Gotta try and get out, but the Shackle's going to latch onto him. Papa Tootie gets the power shot for the kill, and now Scourge, yeah, he's a little bit further forward as well. Giant, good bailout play. Coming in with that bushwhack again. Pingu's going to heal his teammate up there with the coil, but they did hit up the Queen of Pain. They've got him with the Fortune's End now as well into the Impale. That is a big kill. Devi is able to sort of find the final hit, but it's a team effort on that one to keep the lockdown in place. And now Devi, he wants a little bit further in. Giant's dropping incredibly low, but the Aphotic Shield will be there to save him. And instead of going all in for those further kills, Yuma is probably going to make the smarter play here, just go for the tower. He's got to wait for the glyph to wear off, but meta is still up for a little while, and they should be able to claim this.
Yeah, and there's not much that they can do. They don't have the role if they even wanted to TP back in there. And the TP meta just ending now, it feels really clean from Yuma. You're able to make these rotations. Scourge tried to rotate in, sort of supply his team the damage, but it felt like Tingle King went just a little bit deeper than he should have there. He gets punished for it. He gets right-clicked up by everyone, and that's something that you have to be careful of with this Pango. You're not invincible in your own ultimate, and not having the shield crash up yet, you actually need that damage resistance in top. Oh, this could be a brutal double play here on... Ooh.
And they get it.
Double Impale.
Frugos wants it. Impale only hitting onto one, but they still get the Shackle in there. It doesn't last very long, but it's not going to matter. Scourge is still falling, but the Eclipse is actually doing a hell of a lot of damage, but not quite enough. Scourge goes down. Papa Tootie, though, on the run. Oh, man. Turns around for the Shackle, hitting up onto Tingle, and... Can he keep going? Yes, he can.
Perfect.
Okay, wow.
Oh.
Swashbuckles there. Didn't quite know if that was going to be enough damage, but he's able to get it. Papa Tootie gets taken down, and to be honest, I think you're still okay with that if you're D2 Hustlers. You get Scourge for Papa Tootie. The Wind Ranger had been sort of struggling, so putting that kind of play together is going to go quite nicely for them. That, though, that's a problem. Yuma caught out alone in the south side jungle. Red 2 drops the Sonic Wave directly on him, and that will very much swing things in the Cut's favor.
And it's just, again, I don't know what it is about Giant and Hoodwinked. Maybe he's just only been playing Hoodwinked, but whenever he gets on this hero, I feel like he's been so much more impactful than anything else he's played at this tournament. And if he's continuing to make plays with Red 2, you now have an Orchid on this Queen of Pain. The plays are just going to sort of make themselves here, and I don't think you're able to make the easiest attempt onto that Timbersaw, as well as him only being 30 gold short of his Yule Scepter. But if you're able to continue to punish Papa Tootie, he's gone for Boots of Travel as well, so he is not going to be that sort of anti-greedy Windrunner we've seen before. And ooh, what a Shackle.
Good Shackle
on
in.
Tingle.
Does he have the damage, though? Tingle can still try and go for that Rolling Thunder, but he's not doing it just yet. He'll instead swashbuckle into the tree line and try and TP out. He should get away, but now they know Papa Tootie, he's not here, so let's go in for kills elsewhere on the map. They've caught out Pandago in the east side jungle, and they're going to quickly be able to take him down, but getting onto Pandago means that they don't actually spot out Yuma, who's now looking like he wants to go in. Papa Tootie TP's here as well. They need Red 2, though. If they can't get him, I don't know if this is going to be worth it. Instead, they'll try to jump in on... Oh, wow. Are you...
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Okay. But now, yeah, supports look like they're just both dead.
What the hell kind of Shackle is that? That is some incredible stuff from Papa Tootie. They don't get Red 2, but both of the supports taken down, and Yuma was able to get a little bit of gold from that. Now he's just free to continue farming up in the jungle, using that meta to get through the Ancients. So, yeah, relatively solid play for D2 Hustlers. Still down by about 2,000 net worth, but the progress is being made on their cores. The recovery process has sort of begun.
Red 2?
Ooh, Levi wanted in, but he doesn't really have any lockdown, so I guess he could have tried to use the Yule Scepter there, but not really sure if Papa Tootie would have been in position for the Shackle to follow it up. So instead, Devi is just going to keep the lane pushed out here, getting some harass damage onto Tingle, and now we see the Yules deployed to make sure Tingle's not getting off that Rolling Thunder.
Yeah, and really what the cut need to figure out is, okay, there is a Nyx Assassin in the game. It's on the enemy team. We need to have sentries if we're going to play up here. They had the perfect ward. They knew exactly what they wanted. They just weren't able to grab up Yuma, and this is another little sneaky play here. You have the Orb of Corrosion, you have that Medallion, and Roche can't do much when he is constantly getting disarmed, so this is just going to be a free Aegis, it looks like. Probably on a red 2. Yeah, okay. Just a little sneaky play. D2 Hustlers had no idea what was going on there.
Perfect window for the cut as well. They know they can get in. They know they can take it quickly. And as you said, D2 Hustlers just never caught wind of it. So Roche for free. Aegis into the Queen of Pain's hands. And now, hey, Red 2's already been playing aggressively. But now, I mean, you look at him. He's got an Orchid. He's got an Aegis. What really slows him down here? I mean, yeah, Blink's still at level 1. But even if he gets punished, the Aegis is going to get him right back into it. So there's really no major repercussions if Red 2 opts to go in really anywhere at this point.
And that's something where maybe you'll see the punishment come out before his BKB, before Scourge's BKB. But that's the point I was going to make, is where Scourge is now the target. He's the easiest hero for them to kill, at least core-wise, because everyone else, yeah, bottom though. Devi also dead.
That was incredible. He eventually gets the Yules off, but Tingle hits him with the Rolling Thunder, I think about 3 or 4 times. Red 2 hit him up with the Silence. Giant was even in there with both the Sharpshooter hit and the Bushwhack. So really, the Timbersaw just never got to play. But elsewhere on the map, good response in there from Hustlers. Frugos and Papatuti able to catch out Scourge McDuck in the west side jungle. They recognize everyone on that cut side was down in the bottom lane, so the Luna had to be farming up alone. They are able to bring her down.
And really, Frugos just super duper smart, saving the Spike Carapace, even if he wanted to commit the Eclipse there, because there isn't the most damage coming out from this wind, and Nyx Assassin is kind of slowed up, but oh, they both whiffed. Unlucky. These heroes are both out.
I think, yeah, Frugos hit that Impale onto Red 2, and that just buys them maybe that little bit of time to get the TP away. So they are out of there. Red 2, I mean, it was worth the attempt for sure, but now he's going to come away empty-handed. He can at least push out the top lane, but while he's doing that, you see Devi trying to go to work here mid, pushing the lane out himself, working towards the, as of right now, just kind of casual Sange. I'm not sure if he wants to turn that into something like a Halberd later on down the line, or actually maybe the Kaya and Sange for him later as well, but doesn't have the second half queued up. It's just the Sange into the Lotus Orb for him, so trying to build himself up to be a little bit tankier, a little bit more durable.
And really, this has been fantastic space for Yuma. He's still been able to pick and choose his fights. Meanwhile, Giant and Red 2 have been sort of consistently looking for these plays. And bottom lane, it did feel a little bit weird. Pendago was a little bit too close to his Timbersaw trying to save his teammate. I think that was the Blink Dagger reveal on Tingle King, so probably caught Pendago off guard in that regard. But still, you're able to set up on these towers. If the cut ever sort of break down here, again, this Nyx Assassin, it's going to scout out everything. It's going to get you a good idea. And Tingle, he got the curl up.
And he's going to be okay for now. Meanwhile, Frugos gets taken down, and Devi, I don't know, he's in a bit of a weird place, but he's going to try and keep the fight going, and his teammates are kind of pushing in to help out, so maybe this can work out for them. Scourge, though, going to make his presence known. No BKB, but the Eclipse should be intimidating, but there's going to be the Shackle, not latching onto anything else, though, and Papatuti, I don't know if he really wants to get involved here without that sort of lockdown. His BKB is not really available yet as well, so there's just going to be a bit of a back and forth, a little bit of, oh god, Scourge, he actually does get hit by the Shackle that time, but the Sonic Wave will fly through. It's not enough, though. Scourge still falls, and now this is bad. You've got Red 2 sort of on the back line. He's looking for Pandago, but that means his teammates have no one to defend them, as Pingu and Tingle are going to try and get themselves back. They will make it out. Giant, though, not as fortunate. Shackle comes in. They're going to throw the Chakram out onto him as well. Not quite enough damage for the kill, though, as that disarm from the Lucky Shot is really going to keep Papatuti out of the fight. Devi, though, doesn't need the right clicks. Pushes in with the chain into the Whirling Death. Will be able to find the kill. Now gets the Yule Scepter in onto the Pangolier. They're going to throw the Chakram out there, but there's going to be that roll-up sort of coming out again. So Tingle should be okay, but D2 Hustlers, I mean, they control the fight. They find themselves about 2 or 3 kills. They kept Red 2 really on the wrong side of that engagement for quite some time, and all you really lose in exchange is that Nyx Assassin.
And Red 2, really, he needed to just go in. Maybe you use your Aegis to try and keep the Oracle out of the fight, but everybody just kept on getting purged up, kept on getting saved, and they had already used the roll before, so I'm surprised they even went for those engagements bottom. And again, this feels like this is going to whiff.
Got a back it up a little bit. There we go. He's going to roll himself back, but they get the silence in onto the timber, but he's got the Yules. He immediately purges it away. Now Pingu, he's in trouble. Borrowed time popped. He will be able to fall back here, so he should be okay, but I'm not entirely sure what they were hoping was going to happen there. Tingle would have needed massive amounts of hits on that Rolling Thunder to really even have a chance at starting that fight. So I know it's on a short cooldown. It's a little bit strange to see him go that far in for that one in a situation where it's a pretty low percentage play.
And it's really just the Nyx Assassin. If they're able to play on their own terms, we see all of these wards placed up by D2 Hustlers to play in this bottom lane. If they're continuing to start the fight on their own terms, then this Nyx Assassin is terrifying. That was a fight that started all because Frugos found vision on 2 or 3 heroes, and even though he goes down for that knowledge, it felt like the Cut were constantly chasing up into disadvantageous positions, and all it takes is one Shaco, one Impale, one sort of burst combo coming out from Divine Llama, and you already see that D2 Hustlers, they're taking the space and they're really farming up on their cores so fast. Yuma, once he gets this Scotty, this is going to be a big problem because Scourge, he's going for the BKB just so he can sort of exist and get his damage out. If he goes down again, he's going to start falling behind even further in the matchup. And again, if TB is able to eclipse you net worth wise, that is when you're going to feel very scared if you're Scourge in this game.
And Sanj finished off for the Vailama as well, so he's going to have maybe a little bit more in the way of offensive firepower to work with. We see him building his way towards a BKB next, so it just feels like D2 Hustlers know we want to start fighting to a degree that you haven't seen yet. The scale of these engagements is going to sort of tick up, and not entirely sure if the Cut's ready for it, as Giant, nice play from Frugos, going to be able to stun him up. Power shot from Papa Tootie into the Whirling Death from Divine Llama, and that's about as easy a kill as you're going to get there. Giant really just has no chance to get himself away with the items that he has available, so he's going to get picked off. In fact, Giant, it's a bit of a weird one. He's queued up a Maelstrom. He's looking actually to turn himself into maybe a bit more of a damage dealer, but right now, it feels like he may not live long enough to actually get that opportunity based on the way some of these last couple of fights have been going.
And really, it's just because the game isn't ready for Hoodwink yet. There are very few items that feel good on the hero. It's really Maelstrom, Solar Crest, Aghanim Scepter, Octarine Corp, then you're done. You really don't have very good items. But actually, Tingle,
some trouble. They're going to hit him up.
Nice
Roll
curl
up,
up,
though,
but
will save again. Pandeko, meanwhile, actually got picked on the back line, so they're without the Oracle, and Tingle's going to roll his way forward. Popping that ult, they get in onto Frugos. They're going to be able to take him down. Red 2, meanwhile, pops the BKB, trying to get after Papa Tootie, but not actually going to be able to sort of take him down, so instead, they turn their attention back to the Timber Saw. They hit him up with Bushwhack. Sharpshooter hit comes in from Giant as well, and Divine Llama gets taken down. That's 3 dead on the side of D2 Hustlers, and if you're the Cut, really, you didn't deploy all that much. The Sharpshooter was used, and I guess you do use the roll-up and the Rolling Thunder, but no Sonic Wave needed. The Eclipse sort of stays in Scourge's hands, so they're feeling pretty good right now.
You're not going anywhere.
yeah,
Could be
double
worse.
BKB as well. This is really their moment to get aggressive on D2 Hustler's side of the map. Unfortunately, Roche not respawning just yet. We'll see if they decide to head over there, maybe check it in just a few moments here. As we know, Pingu always gets that Roche timer, but again, you need to be careful because this TB is able to get pretty much as much farm as Scourges, even though you do have buildings sort of knocking your way. You need to be careful whenever you decide to expend these BKBs, especially on the Queen of Pain. The lower they get, the higher the threat that maybe Red 2 gets caught out if he dies instantly. Again, it's sort of the co-op's rule. If you try to be aggressive on this hero and really just overly aggressive, you can 100% get punished. Fortunately for them, Frugos is sort of sticking his neck out, trying to get that vision, trying to get sight on this Queen of Pain. And there really isn't another hero to follow up with him besides that Timbersaw, but with the smoke up, they know that Roche is alive. If they find any Pixar on the Hustler's side, all the momentum is going to shift in their favor.
2 Hustlers on the attack, looking for
They got the
They're
scan.
gonna get in onto Tingle. Roll up, though, again, going to keep him alive. And this is really about the 3rd time in a row, I think, where Tingle's been the one sort of hit up first, and he's able to get away. This time, though, he is taking a lot of damage. Papa Tootie's right in onto him, and they're still not going to get him. Tingle's able to walk away. The rest of the lineup falls back as well. Devi, yeah, that Timber Chain wasn't going to get you into position there, so they're not able to find those kills. They do take control of that west side jungle, at least, though, so that's going to get them a little bit more in the way of farming opportunities, and now they want in for Roshan. The meta's still up for about a 3rd of its duration, so they're just going to go for it.
This is sort of disaster situation, though. If the Cut make the play, and they've got to know something here. They can't just give this up to Yuma, because if they get into the fight, they start it off, force Yuma off with the Roche, then this can completely switch in their favor, because right now the meta is out. There's nothing here. Papa 2 is just going to get saved, and they've gotten away with murder.
Devi wants in for the fight. He gets Scourge with the Yule Scepter. The BKB, though, is available. You would assume Scourge is going to be okay here. Meanwhile, Red 2 pushing forward, looking for Frugos. They're going to be able to cancel the TP with the Lucent Beam, so they do get that kill, but there's a buyback available on that Nyx Assassin, and as you said, D2 Hustlers got away with a Roche attempt that really shouldn't have gone their way. Please, no. Please don't let that, please, dear God. Okay, they're going to be able to pick it up. That just straight up can't be allowed to happen, but now Tingle, he's in for the fight. Yuma has to double back for that shard, which means he's just completely isolated, and they take him down. And there's no false promise here either. They had to use it on Papatuti in that previous engagement, so really, there's just nothing here for them. Pandago gets taken down, and Yuma is waiting for reinforcements. Papatuti will make his way into the fight, though, so Scourge, he's going to get into some trouble, but Yuma... Actually, no, Yuma doesn't die. It's Papatuti who falls instead, as Yuma is going to be able to eat the cheese, and he's turning the fight around. Red 2 going to be able to TP, or blink himself away, rather, excuse me, as Pingu is looking for the TP himself. He will not make it, though. Devi is able to bring him down. Tingle, though, hiding out in the tree line. I don't think they even saw him here. They know he's here now, and Frugos, can he do this?
He's got a blink of his own.
Blink. Needs the vision.
Oh, didn't even... Oh, that's just on the fringe of the fog of war, but yeah, that was really sloppy from Yuma. Having to walk back, send an item home, drop the shard, freak out, go back for the shard, loses his Aegis, but almost inadvertently baits them into a fight where yet again Scourge goes down, your Luna is dead, it's off the map, not able to farm, where Yuma, he's really pretty much stopped dying. He hasn't died in over 15 minutes. He continues to accelerate on his own, and really no hero can stand versus him in this game. If Tingle King doesn't have that Rolling Thunder, even if he has the Rolling Thunder and he doesn't have that shield crash damage reduction, he will just straight up die. Even though you do have that Skull Basher now, so you are going to be a little bit more obnoxious for those heroes, it's really more so against this wind. And even him, he doesn't have any way to sort of pierce through that evasion, and there isn't a good answer. That's why the wind is so brutal versus Luna, because you don't want to build MKB. You don't want to be forced to go for those items. And we'll see if Yuma decides to go in that direction, because that would just be an absolute killer for Scourge to deal with in this game. We'll see once he has this butterfly of his own, if this matchup decides to sort of turn in his favor. But as of right now, D2 Hustlers, it still feels like they're in a very advantageous position. Devi's getting a BKB of his own. All of the items are still coming out, where Red 2 hasn't really been able to progress past his BKB, whether or not he decides that the Shiva's Guard or an Aeon Disc. He really needs to sort of make the call for what his team needs, and he needs to make these decisions pretty fast, because you're lucky that these fights have been starting on Tingle King. If they start on anyone else, if they start on Giant or Red, it's just going to be a complete wash in the other direction. And Hustlers, they're playing in two lanes again at the same time. They need to sort of get this control back in their direction. Otherwise, they need farm. They need to finish a few more of these items, and then I believe they can still take a convincing fight. The game really is 50-50 at this point. They just have some really scary heroes on the Hustler side.
And I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, we mentioned it at the start of the last fight. You talked about it just now as well. It amazes me that D2 Hustlers have been unable to get onto anyone other than Tingle King. I mean, 3 times in a row here, they jump in, they think that they see Tingle King, which I guess technically they do, but just rolls up and then he's fine. And in a couple of situations, that roll up leads into the Rolling Thunder, and then the Cut are the ones taking the engagement for themselves. So,
oh boy, this is DDBKB. This hurts.
Yeah, Tier 3 tower gone, Rax under attack. When and if they make the move, can they actually get through? As Tingle's gonna...
Tingle!
Oh my god!
Okay, this is disaster.
Yeah, Jesus. I mean, Tingle just didn't know he was going to take that much damage. I didn't know he was going to take that much damage. He's just blown up, no buyback, bottom lane of Rax taken, and Yuma shift on over to the next one. Go after the middle lane. There's no one here to stop him. That was incredible.
It's just 2 melees, instantly. There's nothing they can do about it. They completely missed their timing, and now Scourge. He didn't BKB TP.
Frugos is able to cancel it. Here comes the TP. Devi's in as well, Scourge.
He's got to fight for his life.
Yep. There's going to be the BKB into the Eclipse. He's able to find 1 kill, but honestly, at this point, I'm not really sure this is going to matter. Even if Scourge gets away, the damage has already been done. There's so much that TP was able to do, and yeah, Scourge, run. Just run. Don't turn around. Don't look back. Just run as far as you can, as long as you can. but I think he's still in some trouble. Papa. Ooh, Papa Tootie almost dead himself, but able to stay alive. Scourge gets locked down, and Yuma should be able to finish him off. So, I said run. He turns around. He tries to fight, thinking he's got to kill onto the Wind Ranger. Instead, he gets baited into it, and Yuma is able to take him down. That just feels like it comes out of nowhere. Yuma gets a DD, and all of a sudden, just boom, they're in. 2 lanes of Rax gone. Tingle King wasn't able to do anything with that roll, and it's just almost instantaneous with that switch up.
And you, again, you didn't respect it at all. You didn't go for the shield crash. You didn't cast it. You didn't try to get on any of these heroes, and you 100% get punished for it. And now he's got almost the works of an MKB up from this Terrorblade. So now that matchup versus the Luna, again, it gets worse and worse. And now we finally see Yuma has completely eclipsed Scourge after that death. And while you do have buybacks, well, nothing really was forced. You only have one objective left. If D2 Hustlers really want to, they could 100% force this glyph out and then sort of force you into a position where maybe the game just ends and you have to play versus Mega Creeps. And then D2 Hustlers, we know that they're sort of a defensive team. They might just sit back, wait for this next Roche, because the cut, they have to get a play going. They have to find something. But there's always that threat of, oh wow, we're just getting right-clicked. I need to find somebody to stun if I'm this Pango. He just died so quickly. They just didn't respect that DD at all. And now, if you are the cut, what do? You wait on your high ground, you wait for this MKB to be finished on Yuma. It feels like the items are sort of stopping, and you see, again, Red 2, he's trying to figure out what to build. And I don't know what you build at this point, because he's got the AC queued up. I don't know if he has any other items sort of on the courier or anywhere. If this is all you have on your secondary core, this Quap is completely fallen behind anyone else in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we were talking about Red 2 with this Orchid, like, 20 minutes ago, and if the BKB is the only thing he's picked up in the meantime, then, yeah, I don't know. I mean, his courier is, as far as I'm aware, empty, so he's just taking a massive dive net worth-wise. You see him here, he's sitting at about 13, 14k, but that is several thousand behind the likes of both Devi and the TB, so it really does feel like he sort of dropped off, and now there are MKBs on both of those 2 main cores. One up for Yuma. Papa Tootie was able to get one as well, so this is not going to be fun. Luna is not going to have a whole lot here. That Satanic is coming along, but I'm not sure you're really going to be able to get it, and even if you do, it can save you maybe once, but D2 Hustlers may just have the damage to sort of break through you anyway, even with that lifesteal. It's going to be unbelievably difficult for them. The cut at this point feel like really they need flawless execution on this next fight, otherwise you lose the engagement, you lose Roshan, you lose the last lane of Rax, and that may just be the game.
And it does feel pretty boring. Just D2 Hustlers taking their advantage, taking really just 90% of the map because they can't stick their necks out. I've seen Red 2 push out this bot wave and then sit underneath his tier 4s, I think 2 or 3 times now, and that's just your farm rotation now. Because of those 2 racks, and really they're the good side of the map as well, those heroes are pushed away even further from the Roche pit, and we're going to get an Aegis respawning in just a minute here. And even Yuma, he says, okay guys, I'm done with farming. If I finish any items now, I'm just going to slot out my boots for this Aegis, so you guys can take the rest of the map, and we're going to continue to see these heroes finish off these luxury items. There's going to be an Aether Lens on Pandago. There's going to be even more items coming out from Devi. And really just Devi continues to prove why he is such a monster on this Timbersaw. I feel like they had those cute plays with the Hoodwinked a very, very long time ago where you were able to kill him. And then everything really fell apart. It all goes back to that one Aegis where Red 2 wasn't able to force things around. And again, everything sort of falls onto Tingle King's shoulders where he is your only stun. He is your only disable. Is it really fair to him? That's hard to say. But if he sort of falls anywhere in his performance, it just feels like they're unable to play Dota. And now they've got an Arcane Rune on Yuma. Roche is going to respawn in 10 seconds here. And this is an Aegis that is uncontestable. Unless the cut really exceed our expectations here, I think they're just going to give it up again. And D2 Hustlers, they're the slow and steady team. They're just going to take you to this 40-minute mark and just push in with that Aegis. And I don't really know what you do. You can barely kill a TB once. How are you going to kill him through Cheese, Aegis, BKB, and Asunder? I really don't know.
So, Devi has a heart, so one of 2 things can happen here. He can just charge forward and do whatever the hell he wants, or if you're maybe feeling a little bit more defensive, this is just basically the Timbersaw is now a battery for the TB. If you need the Sunder, just pop it onto your Timbersaw. He's going to be healing up fast enough where he's right back into the fight, or at least strong enough to push his way forward. So that heart opens up so much for them, and I just don't know. I'm not sure how they can do this. As you said, Aegis is up on Yuma. Cheese goes over to the Oracle. He's got the refresher shard in his inventory now as well for that TB. So double meta, 2 Sunders, BKB is going to be coming up multiple times. It's just, I don't think they can do it. It's going to take really a miracle from the cut at this point.
And really, it's one impale, one shackle shot. If anything ever lands on one of those more fragile heroes, the game is most likely over. Even then, you have to get through this Oracle, and okay, they're trying to make a play on the Pandago. There's no follow-up, though. They got to shoot him out, but okay, that's 2 ultimates down now. I think that's it. I think they just blew their shot.
Here they come. D2 Hustlers up onto the high ground. Meanwhile, the Heart of Taras Timbersaw says, get out of my way. Just get out of my way. That's all Divide needs. There is a Rapier, though, up on Scourge, so maybe this is the game-saving play, but you're hitting the wrong target right now. The Timber's not a hero you're going to be able to bring down. All the while, you're losing that final lane of racks. The Luna has to be shifting focus here, but by the time she does so, it may be too late. The melee's been taken, but they are out of the base. Red 2 forward with the Sonic Wave. Pandago will be taken down. They're going to get in onto Frugos now as well, but immediate buyback coming in from the Oracle. Meanwhile, Red 2 gets stunned up. Red 2 will be taken down. Oh boy, buyback is going to be there, and the Luna is still holding on to that Rapier, trying to fight through it. Papatuti taken down. Divide, though, holding his ground. Yuma coming in here as well, but he lost the meta. He is going to be able to pop the BKB, though, and continue chasing forward. So now Scourge is backing off. He does still have that refresher. He did pop it, so he's got the meta back up again. And now, with the Megas acquired and the Tier 4s exposed, Yuma's just going to basically go for the win. And Scourge, you can't afford to play defensively now. The Rapier has to either win you the game or it's got to hit the deck. Those are your only 2 options. Cannot really end the game having not gone in here, but he's still playing back, and oh my god, Divide.
Yeah.
He's just going to lock him down. Scourge is, well, he's not dead yet, but there it is. Divide's able to take him down. Giant, Giant takes the Rapier, but
there's no buyback. And
that's the
GG.
GG.
Man.
What an
underwhelming
Rapier,
like
honestly.
that's DD. They just didn't see the DD, or I don't know what happened there, and then Tingle King dies, and then the game is over. I really don't know what happened. It felt like they were able to accomplish so much more than that previous game. It felt like they were farming up, they were able to make plays, but just a combination of the DD followed by Tingle King instantly dying, followed by 2 racks, followed by your Luna then dying in the middle of your jungle. I don't know what to say. D2 Hustlers just spiraled that unfortunate series of events into just an absolute win. Just, again, got to give props to Frugos. He was the one that played this Nyx just a little bit better than Giant, played in enemy territory, and it felt like the cut, they weren't able to make those same forcing moves. They had a lineup that got that very early lead, and they were able to push it just a little bit, but it feels like they really misused that Aegis. They weren't able to get in on Pandago really at any point in that game. They were able to kill him bot once with Divine Llama. Aside from that, they struggled to really find this Oracle, find the backline, kill any of these heroes off. And again, the itemization halted on the Quap. The itemization halted on Scourge. They got locked into their base. And then even Tingle King, who up until that point had all the pressure on his shoulders, was doing really well. They kept on trying to burst him out. He immediately got those rolls off. He immediately got that damage debuff from the shield crash. But the one time he doesn't, he has a 700 damage TB with meta hitting him, and the game ends. It's just an unfortunate series of events, but D2 Hustlers, again, they proved that they were just the better team. Even though Papatuti, he wasn't playing at full speed. It really felt like he was falling behind, but because Red 2 just kind of outlaned him and then got his Orchid way faster. But again, just didn't matter. Yuma farmed to another easy victory for himself.
Yeah, just a weird situation. Papatuti ends that game 3-5-10. It's not a very impressive stat line, and you compare it to what Queen of Pain has on the other side. Red 2 still played incredibly well. It's just, it was so sort of front heavy in terms of what he was able to do. We mentioned repeatedly that itemization. I mean, actually, I want to take a look at the player items here because it just feels so weird for him. Orchid at 15, BKB at 24 minutes. Beyond that point, he gets Power Treads at 32, a Shard at 33, and the Blink Dagger right at the end there, about 30 seconds before the game finishes. So, I mean, you're looking at a period there of like 10 minutes where he picks up very little of prominence after an incredible start. So, I don't know. It really didn't feel like D2 Hustlers were forcing him out of farm. It just felt like Red 2 maybe tried to make too much happen, tried to go for the aggressive maneuvers and didn't really have the farm to continue building himself up. And once those aggressive maneuvers stopped netting kills, there wasn't really a fallback plan.
Yeah, and again, all the pressure is on Tingle King and Giant. They had a lot of speed. Their KDAs, their plays were looking, they were feeling pretty good. And they had that one double BKB timing. They fought in their bottom jungle. They were able to kill Frugos immediately, but it felt like every single time they were sticking their necks out. They weren't finding the right targets. They were losing heroes that mattered way too much. And uncharacteristically, whenever you see Scourge die more than 5 times in a game, you know he's not happy. You know he's not having nearly as good a time that he needs to win the game for you. And on a hero like Luna, it's sort of that same situation, as well as you just get counterpicked by that TB. And once you fall behind, it really just takes 1 or 2 fights for everything to spiral out of control. And to top all that off, you have Devi Lama playing his best hero with really no answer to him aside from that hoodwink sharpshooter. And every single time he wasn't able to land it on him, and it felt like they just stopped making those plays onto Devi. He just snowballed out of control. His net worth shot up so fast. He ended the game, I think, only 3 or 4K net worth behind Yuma. Like, the man's just a monster.
And you know what? It's some interesting timing talking about Devi being so dominant on that Timbersaw, because we have Devi Lama here for the post-series interview. So we're going to get to actually talk to the man himself here. We're going to be getting him into the room here in just a moment. Hopefully no issues on the Discord side of things. So let's see how this goes down. There we go. Devi Lama, hello. Are you there?
Hello.
Ooh.
Hello.
There we go. Sorry about that. Cut out a bit on
No.
my end. But first and foremost, thank you for taking the time to speak to us, and congratulations on
My pleasure.
a solid series. I mean, 2-0 sweep. You guys are looking pretty good there, and you are a
Mhm.
large part of that.
Thank you.
So, first question I got to ask you right now, though. ET and I were just sort of fanboying out over you a little bit. Why? Why is anyone letting you play Timbersaw at this point? I mean, you are incredible on that hero. We saw it in that last game. Led all players in kills. It just always feels like you know where and when you need to be on that hero. Are you honestly surprised that you're still getting this Timbersaw so frequently?
Well, the thing is, we've never picked on 5 before. It's not a very common the first pick on 5, you know. And we were pretty sure they wanted to pick it for the 7-6, so we said fuck it, let's just pick it on 5. They're probably not even smart enough to counter it that well, and we just want to take it from them because Tingle King likes a lot as well. So we picked it on 5, and they picked an ABBA against it, which isn't that great. Lane wasn't the greatest, but it was fine, and yeah, still had a decent game. I'm not expecting to get that hero on 8 anymore, or on 7 even, but on 5 apparently, yeah, still got it.
Yeah, just feels like teams are going to need to make some adjustments, because when you play that hero, good things tend to happen for your squad. Also want to ask you something real quick. You've been playing with Frugos kind of intermittently here, 1437 not always available. A bit of a different situation compared to some of the other teams with stand-ins. They play with one player up to a certain point, and then the stand-in sort of takes over the rest of the way through. You've had 1437 kind of here for this series, but not that one. How much do you guys really need to adjust putting Frugos in there? Is there a difference in strategy, hero pool?
Well, the reason why he's in the team is because he's kind of the one who made the team, and then he left it right before the qualifier started and joined another one, which was fine. We were all cool by it. He helped me find Papaturi and Pendigo as well. So he still he kind of made the team, and then he couldn't find a team anymore himself after Wind and Rain. After he got kicked from Wind and Rain after the first qualifier, after the second qualifier, I believe, and yeah, so he hasn't had a team himself, and he just wants to play Dota. We're good friends, and about how many adjustments we have to make. The thing is, we practice a bit with Frugas even. Frugas is like a regular standard. He's even cool with playing scrims, so we scrim with him. We're very used to playing with him, and they have Frugas and Teban have similar hero pools even. So as long as we do the things that we've practiced, as long as we stick to what we know, don't do anything too adventurous, we were fine playing with Frugas because he's a very, very respectable player in his own right.
Yeah, very much well known for sort of folks in the scene. And I just wanted to ask that because you guys really, it feels like it didn't really matter, so to speak. Frugos sort of just steps in and you guys
Yeah,
don't really miss a beat. So
yeah, he does a good job. Yeah, the reason Tivan is not here today is because his first child is being born right now. So
yeah,
shout out to him.
that's worth missing some Dota games over for
Yeah,
sure.
I guess so.
And
Luckily, it was only the cut, so
I know, right?
yeah,
You can't go to Thebes saying you got O2'd, right? That would be a bad day.
yeah, exactly. You know, we did it for him, to have him some more good news after, his first child being born.
You know, I'm sure getting told by your teammates you got O2'd the day your child's born. It's like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
that would not be
Yep.
the greatest of news. So do want to ask you now about your upcoming matchup. You're going up against Infamous. You were able to 1-1 them in the group stage. Not sure if you've been able to sort of catch any of their matches in the playoffs here either, but you guys both seem to be sort of building momentum really at the same time.
Mhm.
Do you think, will you guys need to make some adjustments for that matchup in particular, or is it just going to be you play your game and you have confidence sort of in your own side?
When we played him in the group stage, I felt like we were the better team. Um, I think we just like played the first game. I think we played decent, and then we won it. I think, and the second game we just split very poorly, and then we lost. But I do feel I think we're quite confident still. Like obviously they're one of the better teams for sure, but I think we have an edge over them if we just stick to you know to what we know and stick to solid strategies. Then I think we have a slight edge over them.
Play your game and see how it goes. It's been working out well for you so far. Uh, that's all I got. Et, any sort of follow up questions on your end?
I guess to bring a little bit more attention to that Infamous matchup, we've been talking about Infamous a lot as they've sort of progressed through the tournament, maybe swapping up their strategies. Once they got Parker, it really feels like there was a big shift in their ideas and what they wanted to play. Have you had to sort of take note of that going forward? And do you take note of the other teams in this tournament, watching them closely, seeing what they're sort of enveloping? We've already seen For Zoomers and Undying sort of talk about how they're holding back strategies, how they're not
Mhm.
really switching stuff up because again all of this focus sort of is brought towards the TI qualities.
Yeah,
So
this is definitely a warm up for TI qualifiers to a decent extent. Yeah, yeah. Well, we definitely keep an eye on what they're doing. And T-Ban, of course, he like casted every single game in the SADBC. He knows these teams pretty well. Um, I'm not sure about like the roster change in Infamous about Parker and kicking Angel for Parker. I've heard from some of my teammates that that might have not been a wise decision. Well, anyway, I don't know the details, but yeah, obviously we keep an eye on what they do, and yeah, we still want to win. Like it's still a decent prize pool tournament. We would like to build some confidence going into TI. Yeah, I guess like for Zoomers and Undying are like the teams that want to hold back on strats probably because they feel pretty safe in the top two, but we just want to get a decent placement and get some experience playing against them.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all practice, right? Still playing
Yep,
Dota.
for sure.
Still playing Dota at the end of the day. You guys just playing it quite a bit better than your opponents. So, Vailama, thank you so much for talking to us. Appreciate you sort of sharing your insights. We'll let you
My
get
pleasure.
back to your teammates and celebrate this win, and we'll see you tomorrow
Yep.
in that next round.
And a small shout out to Lil Nick as well. And,
Justice. Everybody's giving
yeah,
him justice.
justice
FTC,
to Lil
man.
Nick.
FTC.
Yep. All right. Have a nice evening.
Thank
You
you very
too.
much. Oh, got to hear from Devaya Lama. For some reason, seems like more often than not we're interviewing the offlaners. I don't know. It's a bit of a trend starting to develop. Maybe they're just a bit more talkative than some of their teammates. But nice to hear from Devaya Lama. Good to sort of see where D2 Hustlers are at right now mentally. And I liked that answer he gave about Frugos. The fact that he just sort of scrims with the team, that he's comfortable. He's basically the sixth man for them. And obviously, yeah, 1437 has a very, very understandable reason for not being here. But the fact that you can just sort of slot a guy in like Frugos, high skill, familiar with the team, they just, again, they just don't miss a beat. They just go in and they get themselves this 2-0 over the cut.
Yeah, he's the French mastermind, you know? You got to give respect for him. And maybe once Theban's kid gets a little bit older, make it 7-man roster, you know, they're going to be swapping out players all the time.
Oh man, but yeah, and congratulations. It's 1437 as well. Hope everything is going sort of about as well as it possibly can. So, believe we are now done for day 3. Wow. Losing track of the days here, my apologies, but day 3 of the playoffs now done and dusted. Congratulations to both Infamous and D2 Hustlers. They will be advancing to that next round. They will be playing against each other tomorrow in another elimination matchup. So we have that aforementioned matchup, round 3 of the lower bracket, Infamous versus D2 Hustlers. We'll also have, I believe, the upper bracket final going down as well. Another matchup between 4 Zoomers and Undying. Winner claims the first spot in that best of 5 grand final. So we're getting down to the back end of it, and this is really where we're going to see sort of some of the best Dota from some of those squads who are looking like the favorites heading into those sort of regional qualifiers for their respective region. So things should be heating up. Hopefully we might see a series actually go to 3 games as well. It's been all 2-0 so far, but well, here's hoping, right? You would like to see a little bit more Dota, maybe a little bit more competition overall from some of these games.
Yeah, and I mean they haven't been bad games
Yeah.
by any means. It just feels like one team pretty cut and dry, not seeing the game shift too much. That second game against Akori was a little bit dicey for Infamous, but again, they sort of just flip everything around, and they really were the better team in that scenario. So I'm glad that they finally got a 1-2 versus Akori because it really feels like that was bugging them for a while. And I mean, we heard from Mariano, you know, they just want to win. They just want to keep playing Dota.
Mhm. Yeah, Mariano was sort of playing it cool there. He's like, yeah, we're just looking to win against anybody, but you know, in the back of your mind, you're always sort of thinking that it's like we want to get these guys, and well, to their credit, they did. So, again, that will do it for us here on day 3. We will see you all tomorrow, same start time, 1 p.m. Pacific time here. We'll have round 3 of the lower bracket and those upper bracket finals coming your way. So for now, we will be shutting things down. For ET and myself, thank you all so much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the Dota. Happy Friday to you, and enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll see you all tomorrow.